It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. BTI, your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Eagle Radio, Hull Broadcasting, and HayesPost.com, keeping our community connected. And The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, pick up, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Tiger Talk. We're live once again at the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State University campus, part of Tiger Club, and we're certainly glad to have you with us here today as we talk some Fort Hays State athletics. We'll visit with head football coach Chris Brown, also Jessica Wood-Atkins, the Tiger volleyball coach, a little bit later on, and Tyson John, the head women's soccer coach from Fort Hays State. He'll be back with us here today. We'll recap their past week of activity and get you set for another fun weekend of Fort Hays State athletics. Again, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us your question. All you have to do is go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Click on fans. You'll get the drop-down menu, and there at the bottom you'll see Ask the Coach. Submit your question. If we use it, a chance to win a T-shirt from Fort Hays State University Athletics. We've already had some in-house questions today. We'll get to those as we move along. We'd certainly love to hear from you, and we love the questions from Tiger Nation, so certainly keep them coming. Of course, this is part of Tiger Club. You can join the Tiger Club. Your dues go toward athletic scholarships at Fort Hays State. You can join us live and in person every Wednesday here at the Robins Center for Tiger Club. All right, we're going to get to our coaches a little bit, but first, though, we get you up to date with the week that was, if you will, at Fort Hays State. Everybody off and running so far. About the only team that wasn't in competition, cross country, but they'll be back at it this weekend. They head to Columbia, Missouri at Gans Creek Classic. So we'll be getting an update from Jason McCauley here in the next week or so. Of course, football, they were 37-0 winners at home over Northeastern State Saturday afternoon. They're now 3-1 on the year. On the road in Edmonds Saturday night, taking on number 23 Central Oklahoma. And again, Coach Chris Brown joins us a little bit later on. Carson Arndt, by the way, MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week after kicking 3 field goals and going 4 for 4 in extra points. Volleyball goes 3-0 at the Southwest Baptist Invitational in Bolivar. Beat Truman for a second time this season, 3-2. Knocked off Ouachita Baptist 3-1, then beat Northwestern Oklahoma State 3-2. Volleyball off to an 8-1 start. They'll be opening MIAA play Friday in Joplin at Missouri Southern. We'll hear from Jessica Wood-Atkins a little bit later on. Men's soccer, they dropped 3 spots to number 17 in the United Soccer Coaches D2 Top 25. They dropped 3 spots after they 3-1 loss to number 19 Midwestern State last Thursday night in Wichita Falls. Then played Eastern New Mexico to a 2-2 draw on Sunday. So the Tiger men are 3-1-1 on the year. They'll open GAC play at number 22 Southern Nazarene. That'll be Saturday afternoon, a 2 o'clock match in Bethany, Oklahoma. You can find the link to watch that on the men's soccer schedule page at FHSUathletics.com. Women's soccer, they've won 3 in a row. They beat Southwestern Oklahoma State 2-0 last Thursday in Weatherford, then blanked Northwestern Oklahoma State 1-0 Saturday in Alva. So they're now 3-1-2. Had 2 players receive MIAA Athlete of the Week recognition. Emily Hutchings, the Defender of the Week. Mackenzie Caldwell, the Goalkeeper of the Week. Tigers beginning conference play Friday in Joplin at Missouri Southern, then Pitt State on Sunday. And as we mentioned, Tyson John, head women's coach, will be with us here right after the break. Men's and women's golf had a good week so far. Of course, they golfed Monday and Tuesday. The men finished third. It was a rain-shortened event at the Missouri Southern State Fall Invitational. It was held in Monkey Island, Oklahoma. They had to basically shortened round 2 and then completely canceled it. So only one round on Monday, one round on Tuesday. Tigers were under 300 in both. 292 Monday, 288 yesterday. And they finished 2 shots back out of first and bring home third place. Cooper Scheck ties for 10th. He went even par in the 2 rounds. Parker Krob tied for 16th at 1 over. The men now off until October 14th and 15th. They'll be at the Newman Invitational at Teradyne Country Club in Andover. The women, they tied for 10th at the MIAA Fall Conference Preview at Meadowlark Hills in Kearney. Freshman Shayla Nordland, she was the individual champion. Rounds of 73 and 70, finished 1 over. Tigers head to Edmond for the Gray Shin Regional Preview. That'll be at Kicking Bird Golf Club on the 7th and 8th of October. Tennis had 5 wins of the ITA Fall Central Regional. Their match with Sterling College that was supposed to be yesterday canceled due to illness on the Sterling team. They'll have a scrimmage with Barton Community College coming up on Friday at 3 o'clock. So that gets you up to date on everything that happened since we visited with you last around Fort Hays State Athletics. And we're going to get a little more in-depth here with women's soccer when we come back. Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join Fans of the Plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. Women's soccer coach Tyson John joins us next. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
He bobbles into the 10-5, touchdown.
Into the edge, and Hays High's going to win this football game. Johnny Rigler is on the spot.
Fire up the 3, and make it home as it swirls.
Launches a 3, bang, nothing but net.
It's dropped in left field, and we are tied as 5 touchdowns.
He didn't get down. Hays High wins in overtime.
Shane Watts right of Dawson to the backfield. Now Trevor Watts comes in motion to the left. Now stops and goes back to the right. Dawson to throw. Pocket crumbling. It's a screen pass for Shane Watts at the 20. He's at the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! Fort Hays State on 3rd and goal from the 23. They run a middle screen, and Shane Watts takes it in for the touchdown. And some of the action from Saturday as the Tigers knock off Northeastern State. We'll talk some football with Coach Chris Brown a little bit later on in the program. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's brought to you today by Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story. Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis. You can visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. Joined by women's soccer coach Tyson John. Picked up a pair of road wins last week to move to 3-1-2. Good to have you back. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to Hays.
Yeah, you've been on the road a lot. We talked about that before you went on here today. You've kind of been road warriors. It's been a bit of a struggle, but a couple of nice wins this past weekend down in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it sounds like we took the wind away from Hays for a couple weekends, and we just brought it with us to Oklahoma. So obviously with golf and everything else that with the weather, yeah, we thought maybe if we're going to be out of town, we'll ditch the wind, but nope, that was not the case. So
well, you beat Southwestern Oklahoma 2-0 on Thursday, and then a 1-0 win over Northwestern Oklahoma State. So you got the Southwestern and Northwestern directional schools out of the way, but obviously defense was well, didn't give up a goal, and had just enough offense to get 2 victories.
No, and I brought my 2 assistants here today because, obviously Defensive Player of the Week, Emily Hutchings, Coach Jacob had a lot to do with that, and obviously Goalkeeper of the Week with Mackenzie Caldwell. Coach Jose works very closely with her, and so we were glad to go into any weekend where we can not give up a goal, and that's going to be crucial going forward because we're going to play against a lot of good teams that put up high numbers.
But that was kind of the MO for your squad a year ago. I mean, you hung your hat on defense, and looks like that might kind of be the case as that's starting to kind of develop that way again this year. Seems like your team's starting to get that mentality again.
No, it does. We had to add in some new people, and so that always makes it difficult, and it's not necessarily as seamless as we would hope. But yeah, I mean, giving up goals early, we knew right away that we were like, this is not who we are. This is not a part of our DNA. So we needed to right the ship, and we're well on our way to doing that. And so we may have to play some of these other opponents a little lower. I may be slacking on my end. We're not putting up as many points as I would like, but we still figure out a way, and we find a way to be successful. And so that even comes down to just set pieces and any type of other interchange in play. Then we're going to figure that out as well.
SWOSU match, your 2 goals come in the second half. Scoreless first half, but a lot of action. 13 total shots. They had 8. You had 5. Mackenzie Caldwell, you mentioned her goalkeeper of the week. She had 5 saves in the first 45 minutes of that match.
I think she's the best goalkeeper in the conference, honestly. I would be shocked if she doesn't end up with goalkeeper of the year. I think the biggest thing for us is we got to keep her healthy. And that's been, basically the case with a lot of our team where we've got 2 90-minute players that are now done for the season. And as long as she stays healthy, I mean, she lies on her profile. She says she's 5'11". I don't know why girls lie the other way, because guys, we always tell you that we're taller. But I'm pretty sure she's 6'1". Or at least she plays like she's 6'1", because there's not a lot of people that get close to the ball when she decides she's going to go out and get it. And so, yeah, really blessed to have her in the squad, and a great student, great character as well. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to utilizing her within the conference moving forward.
Well, she was goalkeeper of the week, had 13 saves in the 2 matches, 9 against SWOSU. Even got an assist on a goal, launched it down, and led to one of your goals against the Bulldogs.
Yep, we had a little help of the wind, but she can kick the stuff out of the ball, I'll tell you that. She's got a drop kick like nobody else in the conference, and when we were at Northwestern, I thought maybe she could actually score a goal, because their field's really short out there next to the goats and the cows and everything else. I was like, I think she can kick it the whole way. And so she ended up not necessarily having to, but that's a big thing for her, and that's her first assist, and that's not necessarily common for goalkeepers. So we were pretty proud of her on that.
And you had a freshman, Taylor Hill, scored in the 53rd minute, broke the scoreless match with Southwestern Oklahoma. Her first career goal. That's always exciting stuff.
Yeah, she's a stud. She comes in, she works hard. You can put her anywhere on the field and go, hey, I need you to go and do this, and she goes, just tell me when and how high, and I'll jump or I'll run. And I'll run through whatever, and she is a bull in the china shop. So we really like that about her, and she deserved having a goal. And I think that she's going to be a really dangerous weapon on Friday against in Joplin against Missouri Southern.
Montserrat Diaz scored in the lone goal in that Northwestern Oklahoma State win. Good to have her back and playing for you guys.
She did not score. Unfortunately,
okay,
that's
okay.
No, they got that wrong.
Okay.
That's not your fault.
Very good.
Kinsley Kinsey Godwin scored the goal, but it was a flick on from Monty, and it was a really good free kick put in by Megan Wyman. So it was a bit of a team going, yeah, that's getting sorted out. I got with Ryan yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, it's not how that happened, but that's fine.
But and the 2 players honored, you touched on Mackenzie at goal, but Emily Hutchings, defender of the week. Obviously, you pride yourself on defense. She had a big hand, and the goalkeeper has a lot to do with that. But she has a big hand in pitching those shutouts as well. For you guys.
both very solid players. I mean, the biggest thing for Hutch is that Hutch is, obviously, wore a lot of different hats for us since I've got here. I mean, she started out as an attacking mid, moved her to holding mid, and then last year moved her back into center back, and she was first team all conference at center back. And so I think that was kind of a little bit tough to argue with me on that. When people see you as one of the best defenders in the conference, and she is a leader, and she's our captain. And so, we're really proud of her and really happy that she was honored, and we hope for it to not be the last time she's honored this season.
Well, you're back on the road this weekend. You begin MIAA play, Missouri Southern Friday, 6 o'clock, Pitt State then Sunday at 1 p.m. Let's take a look at the Lions, a little preview on them. I know they're 1-3-2 on the year. Scouting report on your opponent on Friday.
Very interesting opponent. Their 1 wins over Midwestern State, who was 4-0 going into that game and had beat the likes of Oklahoma Baptist, Oklahoma Christian, a lot of teams that have gotten wins over MIAA teams. So for them to have their first win over such a tough opponent, interesting. Their field is horrible. I'll be completely honest. It's got dirt mounds on both sides, and of course it's supposed to rain right when we kick off. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to be a little bit more direct, and we're going to be very physical, and we're going to go, look, who wants it more, us or them?
And then Pitt State on Sunday, they were shut out 1-0 at Southwestern Oklahoma State Saturday, but they're off to a 4-2 start.
Yeah, they're a brand new opponent, so we've never played them in the past, and so we've watched them play because we have played like opponents. They play a similar style as we do. It's going to come down to 1v1 battles and who does it better.
All right, sounds good. Tyson, good to see you. Glad to have you back on the show. Nice job last weekend. Hopefully you can carry it over, get a couple of more wins this week, and you start conference play. Best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. Tyson John, women's soccer coach at Fort Hays State. Again, they will be at Missouri Southern, 6 o'clock on Friday, and then Pitt State Sunday at 1 p.m. Watch them both. Go to the schedule page at the Fort Hays State Athletics website. Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. Back with more after this break on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Being a foster grandparent has definitely given me a purpose in life.
Just been so happy, just so much more energy than being at home alone doing nothing but watching TV. It's the best part of my life.
Best part of being a foster grandparent volunteer, watching the light up in the kids' eyes.
I'm living again, and the foster grandparent did that for me.
He's going to play action, wants to throw, being chased and brought down by Miles Mingus. Sacks him back at the 44-yard line. Mingus got free that time, and he rides the quarterback to the turf. First sack of the day for Fort Hays State, and it'll bring up second down at about 17. Yeah, more of the game action from Saturday, and Tigers win over Northeastern State. They'll be in Edmond this Saturday night to take on the UCO Broncos. We'll have more with Coach Chris Brown in just a little bit, but right now we're going to talk a little volleyball. Jessica Wood-Atkins joins us. Tigers off to an 8-1 start this year. They win all 3 of their matches at the Southwest Baptist Invitational in Bolivar, Missouri. Beat Truman State in 5, Ouachita Baptist in 4, and Southwest Baptist in 5. And we talked last week, playing Truman again. You met him the weekend before, and then you turn right back around and play him next weekend. Was it kind of what you expected, a lot of the similar stuff, or is there a lot of changes for either of the two teams going into that second go-around?
Yeah, I mean, there were some changes. They had definitely switched a few things up, and it's shown that they had scouted us. I think I overheard somebody say they had watched like 4 of our matches. They were getting after it. And despite their record, they are a very good team. They're just a little bit inconsistent. They struggle to close, but they're a good team. But I was proud. It gave us the opportunity to work on some strategies, some adjustments that we've been needing to, which will need to happen once we start the MIAA, so it was pretty good preparation. You look at all 3 matches, 2 of them in 5, 1 of them in 4, but very competitive sets within the match. You had a lot of them go extra. I think you had 29-27, one of them against SBU. You finally won. You had a 27-25 win over Truman. I mean, you had a lot of tight matches, which I still, you're 9 matches in. It's early in the year. Those are great learning opportunities for stuff you hopefully will have to draw on in conference play. They are a little too close for my comfort. I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, this weekend was a little bit different for us in that the defensive side on all across the board was much stronger. I mean, even if you look at the stats, the digging stats, the blocking stats were much, much higher. So it's harder to put a ball away against some of those teams. But yeah, we had to work some different lineups throughout the weekend just because of injury and things like that. And anytime you shift a lineup, you're going to have some missteps along the way. And, we've got 8 freshmen. And all of them got in. And so, you kind of expect there to be a few hiccups along the way, and we had some, but they did a really good job. These kids know how to fight, that is for sure. And I think that showed this weekend. I was going to ask you about your freshmen because I saw they all played. How do you think they handled it? And this will be, you kind of do. You have some back-to-back in conference play, but 3 matches in a short period of time. Don't always have a lot of recovery time. How do you feel they handled all of that this weekend? I think our freshmen did amazing. They did some really good things. And I also group Tatum Lovesey in with that group because she redshirted last year, and she's one of our starting middles. And so she hasn't had any competition collegiately yet. And so I think I was impressed, actually, because typically your freshmen have some ups and downs. They kind of ride the wave a little bit, and you hope that they're riding that wave up a little bit more than they are down. But yeah, I think that they actually all played really, really steady. And specifically, we have 2 defenders who are getting a lot of playing time, and they came in at just the right moments, and they just kept the foot on the gas. They played steady. They kept their foot on the gas, and I think that really kept us in the sets quite a few times.
You have to like, too, the Ouachita Baptist match. Your second one, you lose the first one, 19-25. Then you win 3 really tight sets to get that 3-1 win. Good to see them handle that early adversity and do well and win those final 3.
Yes, they really did. And it was on a lot of fronts. I mean, offensively, we didn't change a whole lot. We were out Claire Olson that game, who's one of our top point scorers just because of her knee again. But actually, Kaya Stuckey came in and played right. She's been our starting setter, but she's also 6'2". I mean, the kid can hit. And so we had her going in on the right side, and Avery Galt, our transfer setter from Oklahoma Baptist, came in and ran the show, and they did a really, really nice job. But we also doubled our stats in blocking this weekend. And so our blocking game really, they stepped it up and did a nice job.
SBU playing the home team on their home court. Didn't get off to a good start.
Nope.
25-9 you get beat, but then you find a way to pull it out in 5. Again, kind of a similar thing, overcome a slow start.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a slow start. It was all on us. I mean, we have a standard defense that we typically run, and but we also have a secondary one that we run. And we needed that secondary one to be successful against SBU, that match. And they just struggled. They were out of position a lot. And when we were in position, we made a lot of hitting errors. You know, we made 9 hitting errors that first set. And so it was just nothing was clicking. But they did a great job, of pulling together into the huddle and saying, all right, one and done, let's go, reset, and let's get after it. And I think they did.
Which you're going to need as you begin conference play, because there's really good teams, and you're going to have a few of those sets that it just doesn't go your way. And you have to have a short memory because you got to keep playing on.
Yes, their ability to reset is important. You hit the MIAA and records don't matter. They're all good. Everybody is good. And you can expect those matches to go to 4 or 5. And so, yes, you have to have a short memory, and you also have to be able to adjust your defensive strategy when needed. So lesson learned.
Gracie Ransing, we talk about her every week, and I know a lot of people contributed, but she was recognized as a notable performance in the conference. Again, 58 kills in the 2 days of action, and just really, really played well again for you guys.
She did. She's a go-to for us. I mean, and you talk about a kid that's all or nothing. She doesn't have a medium mode. She will hit the ball as hard as she can every time she gets the opportunity. If we tell her to do something that's off speed, she looks at me like I'm crazy. Coach, that is no fun. And so, yeah, she's just all or nothing, and we've relied on her a lot. I actually think those stats would have been a little stronger, but she was hurting pretty bad on Saturday. She's also nursing a sore knee. And so I'm glad to be in the conference play now because it's, a little less difficult on the bodies. And so hoping to keep everybody healthy. But, yeah, she is rolling really, really strong.
It's kind of a reset. You had your non-con, you have the invitationals and the classics early on. Now you get in the grind of conference play, and you touched on it well. We know what it's like. At Missouri Southern Friday, then Central Missouri Saturday. So some travel involved. It makes it a little bit more challenging with the schedule the way it is now. And a Southern team that's 2-9, but as you said, that can be very, very misleading. Just maybe a quick overview and a scattering report of what you're going to face this weekend.
Well, we actually saw Missouri Southern at the tournament this weekend, and they are a strong team. They're a strong team. They had a few kids injured that are normally playing, and so we don't know whether they will be back or not. So they've been working the injury card, and we'll see if we see the same lineup that we saw this weekend. But notoriously, they're very good at moving the ball around. They don't have one hitter that they rely on steadily. They move the ball around a lot, which means that our defense has to be ready. And they serve a really tough ball. And so, you want to make sure that your first touch on the ball is a quality one, and they test that to the limits. And so I think that we're well prepared for them, but it's going to be a fight.
You're 8-1 right now. I mean, I would think going into conference play, the confidence of this team, even though you've got a lot of new faces, a lot of young players, but the veterans has to be as high as it's maybe been in years going into the start of the conference play.
Yes, they're feeling pretty good. And I think it's exciting for them to have had some hard-fought battles where we've come out on top, and they see that the hard work and the dedication, because, they all stayed here this summer. It's the first time our whole team has stayed and trained, and they really showed a different level of commitment and a commitment also to remaining positive. And I think that they're seeing that pay off, and so they're excited about it. But we also had a talk that we're entering a different realm here, and you have to stay hungry. Keep that confidence, but get ready.
Well, you have enough who've been through this. They should understand. Hopefully they convey that to all the new people who are going to experience this for the first time.
Yes, absolutely. I think they're ready for it.
All right, sounds good. Jessica, we appreciate it. Congratulations to the great start, and let's get a great start off to conference play.
Thank you.
There you go. Jessica Wood-Atkins, Fort Hays State volleyball again. Missouri Southern Friday, Central Missouri Saturday. Both will be at 6 o'clock, and both will be streamed on Hays Post. Before we do, I did have one question. I forgot to do this. I apologize. It dealt with the challenges. One, is there a time limit for challenges when you do challenge?
No. It all depends on the intelligence level of the officials and their ability to see the play.
Very good. And then the second was kind of a follow-up. What about bigger iPad monitors for the officials on those challenges?
That would be lovely, but that comes to each school's budget, so good luck to them.
Very good. I'm glad I forgot to get to that question. Glad we got it before you leave. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
There you go. Jessica Wood-Atkins, head volleyball coach. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some football. First, need to remind you, though, you can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Click on Shop. There you'll find hundreds of products and designs, and the cool thing, every item's customizable. FHSUathletics.com. Click on Shop and open up the Tigers team store. Chris Brown's next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Dortch back in at quarterback. The freshman Marco Smith to his left. Two receivers right side. High snap over the quarterback's head. It's picked up by the Tigers. It's Benyon Williams. He's going to go the other way. Up the hash mark. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Fort Hays State. Unreal. A bad snap picked up by Williams. It's 16-0 Tigers with 1:01 to go until halftime. Yeah, the big play really on Saturday. Tigers go on for the 37-0 win over Northeastern State to move to 3-1. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's brought to you by the Hays Med Orthopedic Institute, the most comprehensive orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Let the experts at Hays Med Orthopedic help you move freely. Learn more at haysmed.com/orthopedics. Joined now by head football coach Chris Brown, and that was obviously the key play of the game. 10-0, throw the interception on the screen pass attempt. Looked like they're going to go in, make it 10-7, and they get the ball to start the third quarter. And then sometimes, opportunity presented. Benny, in the ball, you got to bounce. If the ball bounces left, it goes right back into the quarterback, and they live for another play. It bounced left. Benny was there, picked it up, raced 81 yards. You went up 17-0, and that was really kind of the ball game on Saturday.
That was a huge play, because if we don't get that and they scored, it's 10-7 at half to get the ball back, and who knows what happens with that really shift the momentum on our side. And heck of a play by him, and that ball it bounced perfectly up into his hands, and you usually don't get that very often, but the coach on the sideline, I think, almost caught Benny on the way down there.
I'm sure.
Yep.
I've seen you. So your hammy's doing better.
It's doing great.
So because coach first practice decides I'm going to run sprints with the team, and then he had a big black and blue mark on his hamstring for about a month, maybe.
Probably a little about 2 months. Probably.
So you're healed though.
Yeah, I'm healed up now. I'm ready to go.
Glad to see you're back
nice and healthy
in season form. That was a big play. What I like too, you see so many times, you see it on TV all the time. A guy gets it, lets up, maybe showboats. Sometimes drops it before he scores. I mean, Benny was head down. He never looked back once. He was on the hash, and he sprinted till 5 yards into the end zone.
And I thanked him for that, right? You didn't high step, and you actually carried the ball across the goal line, because a lot of situations, those guys high step, and they don't realize it's going to be a penalty, so it's going to be, penalties we called at that point and bring the touchdown back. And then, a lot of guys drop it before they get to the end zone. But, he was locked in, focused, and got that touchdown for us. That's a huge play. Very big play.
Big play. You get the win. And it's one of those games that kind of like the season. You had some really good moments. You had some other moments that maybe weren't as good. Just maybe your overview on the outing on Saturday.
Yeah, like you said, we just some good moments and some bad moments, and we just got to be more consistent in the good moments. We have the potential. We got the guys, on the field as well, and we're very talented in our skill positions, and even our O-line, D-lines very talented as well. So we just got to be more consistent in our play and play a little more physical, and I think things will start swinging our way a little bit more.
Physicality, you've mentioned that a lot for this group. Are they trending in that direction a little bit better?
Yeah, they're probably tired of hearing me saying it. It's almost every single day, but that's what I want in our team. I want to be known as the most physical team in our conference, and yesterday's practice was a really good physical practice, and that game, there was moments in that game that we played very physical as well. I thought we played very physical against Angelo State as well. Then we kind of stopped, slowed down just a little bit the next two games, but we're a little more physical last game. But we're getting there. We're starting to trend that way, and this is kind of the time when you start playing more physical than what we have been.
Mason Perez is here. Are you tired of hearing him talking about physical play? I'm sure he is. But defensively, you get a shutout, and I don't care who you're playing. A shutout is a shutout. It got close. They missed that field goal in the very last play of the game. But the defense made some big plays at key moments. Obviously, Benny's fumble recovery for a touchdown was big. But you guys did a pretty good job defensively, it felt like, most of the day.
Yeah, it's hard, to shut a team out. And I think they were under 200 yards until that last drive. And, our guys just got to understand the situation as well. We don't want them to get in scoring position, so we got to, play a little softer, but we still got to play, some tight coverage and get a 3 and out and get our offense back the ball. So, there's just still things we're working. That group was a young group, that was out on the field at that time, but it was good to get a lot of young kids some playing time because they're going to need that, here in the future as well. And, you never know as the season goes on with injuries and things like that, who's going to need to step up and play. So it was good to get those guys in there and see them play and perform well.
I was going to ask you about that. You did get a lot of different faces into the ball game, which is good for a lot of fronts. Give some of your frontline guys a little break, but a chance for them to get in a game scenario because you can do all you want in practice. It's not like playing in a game. And maybe for some who haven't played as much, were you happy with what you saw?
I was very pleased. They got to get used to that intensity of the game, the physicality of the game, the speed of the game as well, because you only get so much in practice. And, I thought all those guys that stepped in, they did a really good job of making the plays that they were asked to make, and, had a few good hits in there as well. But, they're still young and they're still learning, but that experience is what's going to help them more than anything here in the future.
Jack Dawson's been sacked 10 times this year, but only once on Saturday. It felt like the O-line did a little bit better job. And I know Northeastern, anyone who's at the game, that's not the same Northeastern team, but it looked like, depth maybe. You guys kind of wore them out. But were you happy with the offensive line play? You've been happy with how they've progressed?
Yeah, I was. Not the first quarter, first drive, first series, but as the game went on, I thought that they improved as the game went on and kind of adjusted to what they were doing to us defensively and started honing in and communicating a little bit better and figured out what they were doing to us defensively. So, they did do a good job. But Northeastern, they are a totally different ball club than what they used to be when they walked out. I saw a few of the punters and kickers, and for them when you saw their team come out, you could tell they looked totally different with their size and their speed and then the athletes that they had on the field.
It'd be interesting to see. They play 8 MIAA opponents as an independent, how they do this year. It was an 11 a.m. kick, obviously moved because of the threat of the weather. Did that maybe have something to do with the slow start? We talked on the broadcast that in some ways maybe the advantage in a situation like that is the road team and not the home team, because it just felt like you maybe weren't as, just didn't get the start we've seen here the last couple of weeks.
I felt like during warm-up we had the energy, the excitement. I felt really good after warm-up, because sometimes as a coach you always have a feeling of what your team is going to be like, but I felt like our kids were ready. We just came out and, basically went 3 and out pretty quick and had to pump, and then our defense held in, and then our offense, went down and scored and made some things happen. So I think just that first series was just trying to filling out process and then playing that early in the morning. I enjoyed it. Getting up, doing chapel, eating breakfast, and now let's go play a ball game. That's kind of fun as a coach, and because at Lander Randall days you're intense all day, and sometimes by the time you get a 7 o'clock kickoff, you've kind of lost a little bit of energy, but you get it back pretty quick once the game starts. But I don't know. I think our kids enjoyed it too, but maybe it was a little bit more beneficial to them because they don't have to lay around the hotel room, all day long waiting on that game.
Well, Tigers get the win 37-0. They're 3-1, and another biggie this Saturday night. They head to Edmond to take on the 3-0 UCO Broncos, who already have a couple of big wins on their resume. We'll talk about that when we return. Need to remind you, though, Tiger Athletics, proud to partner with the Kansas Drive to Zero Coalition. They encourage you to join Tiger fans with a plan. Always have a designated driver or other sober ride to and from your destination. More with Coach Chris Brown next. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
When it comes to screen printing and embroidery, your first choice should be Redeem Designs in Hayes. Turn it up with Redeem Designs, where it's not just about the products, it's about the partnership. At Redeem Designs, you're part of the process. They work closely with you to ensure your vision comes to life. So turn up your 2024-25 season with Redeem Designs.
Now Evans comes in motion. They throw to the end zone. Leaping catch is made. Touchdown, Fort Hays State. Jaden Horace. He just out-jumped the defensive back and hauls it into the back of the end zone. Jaden Horace, his first touchdown catch of the year. Yeah, good to see Jaden get involved and get his first touchdown after the great season a year ago. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop. You can order by phone, use their Taco Shop app. Dine-in, pick-up, delivery, whatever the case, the Taco Shop. They're just east of the Fort Hays State campus on A Street. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. Tigers at UCO. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, Carson Hart, MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week. He's had a great year, but made all 3 of his field goals, 4 for 4 on extra points. Knock on wood, he hasn't missed one yet as a Tiger, but nice to see him recognized. He missed a one earlier, but he's had a really good season for you. He was really solid on Saturday.
He really has. He's done a great job for us all season long, and him and I always have the discussion right before the game starts. Okay, what about the south end? What about the north end? And he gives me his distances, and then it usually amps up as the game goes on just a little bit farther, But he's done an excellent job for us, and hopefully he can continue doing what he's doing for us right now, because I'm really proud of that kid and the kicks he's made, for us to help win us in these ball games.
He's going to be our Tiger Spotlight on the pregame show on Saturday night down in Edmond. All right, let's talk about the Broncos. They are 3-0. Blowout win over Langston. Probably didn't surprise anybody, but obviously opened some eyes. They ran away from then number 2 Central Missouri at home in week 2. Got a big win last week up in Kearney. Kind of pulled away late, but good football team. Obviously, Adam Dorrell's got them clicking well. They lead the nation in total offense. They're one of the top running teams in the country. A big challenge for you guys Saturday night.
It's a huge challenge for us. They are a very, very good football team right now. Offensively, they're going to give us a lot of challenges. They're averaging like 90-something plays a game offensively. Real quick tempo, no huddle, and they get to the ball pretty quick and get lined up and run on to the next play. And they got some talented receivers. A very good quarterback. He's 5'8", but he can throw the ball and sling it around pretty good, and he can get himself out of trouble as well. And a great offensive line that's protects him pretty well. And then defensively, it's going to be a defense that we really haven't seen all year long. Usually we're used to this 4-man front. Now we're going to get a 50 front, and a 3-man front was the stack defense. And so, our O-line's going to be able to pick that up and different coverages too. So, they're good around the board, offensively, defensively, and on their special teams, they're very solid as well.
When a team runs that tempo, what's the biggest challenge? Just getting organized, or the fact it's harder to sub guys in?
Probably the subs, probably the biggest part of it, because with that many plays being played in a game, it's guys get tired, and so we were doing a little extra conditioning to make sure that we don't get tired. But it's the subbing, and then you have to get lined up, and that's the main thing. And they just try to get you in a base defense, but we got to find ways to be able to bring pressure and blitzes and things like that against this offense.
Well, it's still September, but this is a big game, obviously. An undefeated Bronco team ranked 23rd and a 3-1 Tiger team, and hopefully a good night for you guys, and you make another dent here in the conference race. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time, and looking forward to the game Saturday night down in Edmond.
Thanks, Gerard.
There you go, head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, Fort Hays State on the road this Saturday in Edmond, Central Oklahoma. 7 o'clock kick from Chad Richardson Stadium. Our coverage on the Tiger Sports Network and Tiger Radio Mix 103.3 begins at 6 o'clock with the Tiger Tailgate Show. That's going to wrap it up. Thanks to Coach Tyson John and Jessica Wood-Atkins and Coach Chris Brown. We'll see you next Wednesday right here on Tiger Talk.
Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus.